Well, here's the carburetor on the 1971 Plymouth. And the reason I'm working on it is I've had some problems with it recently with some flooding issues. Most of the time it run good, but occasionally when the engine cooled off and I went to restart it, it would flood and run rough and drip gas out, just generally really doing some bad flooding. So I wasn't too sure at first what the problem might have been with this. I thought possibly it may have just been boiling the fuel because it was getting hot, but it's turned out the other morning I was going to drive this to a car show and I couldn't go in it because I started it up and it just poured gas everywhere. So that made me realize that the problem was likely in the float, or the float and the needle and seat, which is this. Actually on these it screws into the front of the carburetor right here. This is the end of it. So what I did was I took a hammer and lightly tapped on the side of the carburetor and it solved the flooding temporarily. But the only problem with that is that's only temporary. Usually you have some kind of a problem that's going to come back. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the top off this carburetor and see if I can find out what's causing the float to hang up when it cools down, to stick or whatever. So, and of course I don't have to tell you who that is, do I? Of course I don't. Alright, well, let's get busy and get the top off this carburetor and see what we got inside. Okay, well, I thought I would just go ahead and show you real quick what it's involved in taking the top off on these Holley 2280s. First you just got to take your charcoal canister vent line loose, and you take this is down here is the accelerator pump rod, which goes down here, the little clip that holds it on. You take that loose. You take this will slip out, so be sure you put it back in where it goes down on the bottom. But this is just the activator for the choke plate. We'll put this back over here, and then you have the choke rod over here. You'll need to take the line off that goes to the vacuum pull off for the choke. And then you have 6 screws that hold them on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And then generally it should just pull straight up and off. I just replaced this gasket not long ago on here because I already had the top off this once. But I'll show you what you see here is the part with the spring and the blue little cup deal. That's your accelerator pump, and one of those is a power valve and one is just another enrichment type of a device there. So that's all there is to that. Just be sure you put this in a safe place. If you're afraid that you may tear that gasket, if your carburetor's been together for a long time, you may want to go ahead and buy a kit for it that has the gaskets in it. Now, here's inside this carburetor, and there's the floats and the float bowl, and you got down in here you got your main jets and enrichment here, and this is your holds your float. This is your float pivot pin down below this little deal here. Kind of hold this in, but this first thing, this baffle has to come out. So to get these out, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this out so I can examine the floats closely, and then we'll be taking this loose here to replace this inlet seat. Well guys, I think I'm pretty sure what's wrong with this carburetor already without even taking it further apart. If you look right down here, you see how close the toe of this float is to the wall of the carburetor. Now I don't understand why that's like that. It's got this little protrusion here. guess it's for a passage of some sort. This one doesn't have it over here, but what I think's going on is, gosh damn, he's getting closer and closer. What I think's going on, I think this carburetor is expanding when it gets hot. Yeah, and I think it's jamming this float up. So anyway, I was trying to get this removed here. Then it occurred to me that to get this baffle out and the floats out, you have to take this needle and seat out. So let me get that out. Maybe it'll be quieter by then, and I'll show you what we got. Okay, I got another parts carburetor here that I took apart and took the floats out of, which is right here on the left. And I don't know if you'll be able to see this or not, but it looks like at some point these this float, the ones that are in it, the one on the right ones got bent a little bit. You can kind of, I don't know if you can notice it very well, but so it was making the floats, in other words, hang a lot lower in the well, let's do it this way. You can see it better. Just put it on the radiator, but see that one? It's got a straight line across. See how that one's got a loop in it. I may have done this trying to reset them. I don't know, but obviously whatever I did, I didn't help it if I did that. So just for the sake of making sure it's right, I'm just going to go ahead. I don't think this carburetor's ever apart before, so I'm just going to go ahead and throw these floats in. I've already kind of trial tested it, and it looks like they're going to clear that edge of the float bowl just fine. So hopefully this all should eliminate this problem, and I'll just keep these for the spare parts bin, and also help me practice on setting floats in these a little bit better. So I'm going to put it on back together, put the new needle and seat in, and oh yeah, I'll show you this. This is a needle and seat in these. It just screws right in the front of the carburetor, and it's a window type, I guess you would call it. But it just pulls right out on this one, and the one I've got to replace it has like a little plastic cap on the end of it to keep this from falling out. So there's probably no difference at all in them. So, all right, well, you know who has went in for a while, looks like. So let's wrap this up and see how she does. Well, okay, I ended up having to take this damn carburetor apart again because my mistake when I changed those floats out, the ones that were in that carburetor, I don't know how in the world it happened, but they had them adjusted. I said that carburetor had never been apart before, but they had them adjusted way too high, and you know, I had my measure here to be 9/16. And I just, you know, assumed otherwise. I assumed it was okay, and shit. The thing poured gas out again. I thought, oh no. But, so I went back in, and the float, like I said, the float was set up way too high. It had gas in all the way to the top of the float bowl. So, but it's running good now. I think we're good to go. I think just about to take this carburetor apart in my sleep now. I'm still fighting with these exhaust gaskets. I guess I'm going to have to just end up putting exhaust manifold gasket on this, because it had them. And I took them off because I thought that was what was leaking. And so now I'm trying to run it without the gaskets. And as you can hear, somewhere in here, we got a leak. And I know the manifold's not cracked. I looked at it. So I think this time I'm gonna, before I was using these ones that are just the individual cheapos that sit in here, and this time I think I'm gonna get the more expensive kind that's all one piece and try those. It's just such a pain in the ass trying to get these pipes apart. You know, I mean, they're not rusted or anything, but they're just, you have to get under the car and take the take the bolts out under there. Just, hate it. Well, hopefully that's the end of the carburetor problem. It's going to have to be more reliable than that. No doubt about it. I built this car to drive, not sit here in the damn driveway all the time being worked on. Do that. It sounds pretty good now. Alright, camera set up here. Hey, come on, camera. See what I want you to do here. Yes, dumbass. Quality video work here. So I haven't been using a piece of wood to film with, hey. Let's try this. Yeah, you know, sometimes those plugs tend to get a little fouled out. All right, well, we'll go with that and see how it sounds. I think we're good. That's the brake light on there. Alright, I'm going to let it run, warm up some, and see what she does. Have a good one, everybody. Thanks for watching.